PTV, Telebisyon ng Bayan.
Baguio, here in the Cordillera region, we were able to organize the Association of Government Information Officers, as GIOCO we call it. Are we, or is PCO going to tap this group of information officers?
Meron po kaming sa Philippine Information Agency, yung aming DevComNet. So, in each DevComNet, meron po silang elbow room na pwedeng galawan, depende kung nasaan sila. So, yung Philippine Information Agency here in Baguio, I have not been given a briefing, no, ano yung ginagawa ng DevComNet dito. Pero it's up to the PIA in Baguio City to tap your network. So maybe, who's PIA here? Yeah, PIA. There you go. So, so umuo si ma'am. Ibig sabihin, tinap na kayo ni ma'am. Is it?
We're active here, the Association of Government Information Officers. In fact, they are there and they will also join again in the Youth Communicators Forum this afternoon.
Thank you, ma'am. So, isa rin po sa idea na napag-uusapan is to strengthen the relationship with the information officers of municipalities, provinces, and this will be under the leadership or the tutelage of the Philippine Information Agency. Yun po yung plano kay Deputy Director General Villar. Sila po yung gagawa niyan.
Thank you, sir. Yun lang po.
Thank you, Kasama Jo. Si Jonicio Dennis of RPN for his question.
At susundan po ng Manila Bulletin, Dexter C.
Magandang hapon po. Sir, magre-refer lang po ako dito sa may Presidential Task Force on Media Security. Meron na po tayong 888 at saka yung isa pang line na 911. Although ayaw natin na madalas or nagamitin sana to, pero meron din ba kayang possibility to create yung sariling trunk line for this para matutukan? Kasi especially alam naman natin yung previous years, napakarami, and as a young journalist din, meron din naman or meron din kami sa Cordillera na cases na ganito para at least lang matutukan. Sir.
So we have Yusek Jose Joel C. Eco of the Presidential Task Force on Media Security.
Thank you. Opo. Kasama po yan. So, right now we're setting up the operation center or headquarters of the task force. No, we're still in the process of setting up. So, may makausap na tayo even sa IT, sa mga telcos, ganyan yung plano natin. In fact, mayroong ng plano up na lang eh. May partner tayo na gusto niyang i-contribute yon, up na lang, pindutin mo na lang, parang may alert, mag-a-alert ngayon sa task force, mapupunta agad ng mga tao natin. So hindi lang 911, hindi lang 3 numbers or anything, but definitely meron tayong hotline. That will be announced po after na ma-set up na lahat yon. Hotline, FB, Twitter, mabilis yan eh. So we're going to make use of the wonders of technology to better serve our constituents, our clientele, who are the media nga.
Sir, ano kayong time frame natin para mai-launch natin to, sir?
Well, as soon as, nag-usap nga kami kanina sa Secretary Martin. Ngayon po kasi bagong panganak pa lang yung task force. At syempre, pag nagse-set up ka, unang mahalaga dyan, logistics, no? Budget. Sa totoo lang po, nagtatrabaho na kami since October. Wala pa kaming budget. We are working on a zero budget. In fact, zero office. At salamat kay Secretary Andanar, binigyan kami ng konting space sa NEB. Well, because birth pains po ito, bago pa lang. So I'm sure, sabi nga ni Sec kanina, malapit na. So as soon as the funds are made available, lahat po yan sabay-sabay nating ilalabas. Kasi nakaprograma na po siya. Kumbaga sa barel nakakasana. ipuputok na lang. So we'll make the proper announcement in the once everything are in place already.
Sir, last na lang po siguro. Ano yung update natin with regards to sa mga media killings? At what percentage na yung parang masasabi natin na na-solve na natin, nabigyan na natin ng hustisya yung mga namatay, not only yung during sa sa Mindanao, Maguindanao Massacre, and yung overall na percentage natin.
Thank
you, sir.
Thank you. Kung nakita niyo po yung presentation kanina, ang binabantayan po natin, tinututukan po nating kaso ngayon ay 175 na. So 174 yung old. Tapos may isang bago yung kay Larike. No, so ang task force po, binubuo yan ng maraming teams. Special investigation teams on old cases, may unsolved cases, may new cases, may oversight teams po tayo na pupunuan ng mga tao. As I said earlier, ngayon po, nasa proseso pa lang tayo ng pagpuno dyan. So yung mga old cases, including unsolved, at saka yung mga parang cold cases, as sinasabi nga, i-revisit natin yon. Papupuntahin natin mga investigador natin doon sa mga areas na yon. Alamin natin kung anong status. So lahat po ng kasong ito, as early as November 7, last year, October 11 po pinirmahan ni President Rodrigo Duterte yung ating AO. The following month, nag-submit po tayo ng inventory sa kanya. Nandun po lahat yung cases na hahawakan ng task force. So nung araw kasi, for you to better understand it, nung araw kasi ang iniimbestigahan lang ng gobyerno, yung mula 2001 pataas. Kasi mas manageable daw yon. Sabi ko, parang kulang kalahati lang yan. So, todo na natin hanggang 1986. So, yun po, medyo mabigat yung trabaho. Pero nakakasana kami. As I'd like to assure you, kasado na po yan. Thank you.
Thank you, Junicio. Si Dexter C. of Manila Bulletin. And maybe request our friends in the media, please limit to questions lamang po. Time constraints po for the schedule ng ating secretary. Dex?
Yes, good afternoon, Secretary. Regards daw sa'yo, sabi ng kumpadre mo, si Attorney Bangsoy.
Ay, nasa ba si attorney?
He was just on the phone a while ago. Okay.
Nandito ba siya?
Dito siya, sir. Kita daw kayo mamaya, sir.
Sige.
Okay. Sir, speaking of connectivity, the problem in the Cordillera is really to get through the grassroots because of the absence of sufficient platform to go through it. So, what's the government's plan in ensuring connectivity in terms of communication up to the grassroots level?
Maraming salamat po sa tanong. Isa ho yan sa gustong tutukan at ipinag-utos nga ni Pangulong Rodrigo Duterte sa ating kalihim ng DICT, si Secretary Rudy Salalima, na gawan ng paraan, gawan ng plano para mas lalong mapabilis yung internet connectivity sa buong bansa. They were talking about a broadband project that will connect the different purok and barangays to the rest of the Philippines. Ngayon, it is really a debate of are we going to depend on the private sector, the current telcos. Dahil sinabi rin po ng Pangulo na kung hindi maibigay ng current telcos yung pangangailangan natin na mabilis na connectivity, then he will be forced to invite another player to come in. So while that is being planned and addressed, we are strengthening our Philippine Information Agency so that we have a very strong on-ground presence in communicating the policies of government to the masses and to the different barangays, not only in Luzon, but also Visayas and Mindanao. We are also doing everything we can to strengthen Radyo ng Bayan and PTV4 para mas lalo pong maganda yung ating transmission. And of course, if you have a better transmission, then you can reach your audience clearly.
Sir, what happened to the government's free Wi-Fi program wherein it was with DOST before, they were going to place free Wi-Fi in the public places of 4 to 6 class municipalities. Was this mothballed, or there's a plan to enhance it?
Are we talking about the new cities, the new wave cities? Ito pa po yan?
No, sir.
DOT,
Except that, sir, because DOST before the
panahon po ba ito ni
before the previous administration
Panahon ni
stepped down.
President Aquino?
Meron na sana dapat, sir, for 2016, and it is an ongoing project, sir.
Well, alam ko yung DOST, which is now na-transfer na nga sa DICT yung ibang responsibility sa interconnectivity. Ang plano po na libreng Wi-Fi sa mga public places ay tuloy-tuloy pa rin. But let me get back to you on that kung nasaan na ang DICT.
Can I go to another topic, sir, if I may? What's the administration's take on the Cordillera region's renewed quest for autonomy, vis-a-vis the move for federalism, considering that Cordillerans want to be autonomous before the federalism will be put in place, or the Cordillera will be a separate federal state, or an autonomous region within a federal state, sir?
Si Assistant Secretary Banal, ma'am.
Yes, Dexter, my answer would be the Secretary's answer, I'm sure. Andito naman si Sec. So, whatever that the Cordillera people would adhere to, kung it would be the Abueva way of dividing federal states, then the government, the administration would adhere to that. It's more of kung ano ang gusto ng ating mga kababayan. Then, if Cordillera would want to be within, to be included in Central Luzon or Northern Luzon, Central Luzon, then that would be it. However, if Cordillera would want to be within an autonomous region within a federal state, and most Cordillerans would adhere to that, then the government would respect it. The administration would respect that.
Follow up, ma'am, and hopefully Secretary will confirm the answer. There are resolutions from local government units urging the President to certify a bill to be filed in Congress as an urgent administration bill for the creation of the autonomous region in the Cordillera. Will Secretary Duresa, I think, earlier pledged that there is a big possibility if Cordillerans are united. What's the palace's take on this?
I understand that once this is passed, it will go through a plebiscite, wherein the Cordillerans will have to vote. So it will depend ultimately on the citizens of this region. Now, to add to having an autonomous region here in the Cordillera, as you mentioned, the future is bright for that. We all understand that the President is an advocate of federalism. And we're talking about federalism, we're talking about creating more powerful regions, federalizing the regions and having their own autonomy of some sorts. And Asek Marie already mentioned the Bueva Way. So as long as the President is going full steam on that, and as long as Congress and the Senate passes that recommendation, then everything is possible for all of us. In fact, pag nagkaroon po ng federalismo, mas malaki ang posibilidad ng autonomy dito po sa inyong rehiyon. Parang automatic na yan, ngayon ang mangyayari.
Okay.
Thank you, Dexter. We have Alvin Kitasol of Interaction. TV5.
Naimbang Madam Kadatayamin. Kay Secretary po. Ano po ang first agenda ng Pangulo natin bilang siya yung chair ng ASEAN? Okay po.
Okay po.
Director Mayo of DFA.
Salamat po. Unang-una po, ang ating team po ng chairmanship ng Pilipinas ay Partnering for Change, sounds familiar, and Engaging the World. And sa ilalim po nitong umbrella po ng team na yan ay mayroong 6 na prioridad na isinusulong ang Pilipinas upang mapalakas po ang pagiging people-centered, people-oriented po ng ASEAN. Among them po ay peace and stability in the region, maritime security and cooperation, ang ating pong inclusive innovation-led growth, ang ASEAN resiliency, and po ASEAN as a model of regionalism and
Napapanood yung nagpapatuloy na, inyo pa rin po napapanood yung nagpapatuloy na kapihan sa Baguio. Yan po ay press conference. Kasama po yung ilan sa mga speakers na nagsalita kaninang umaga doon sa press conference and yung workshop. Balikan po natin yung kapihan sa Baguio.
importante po dyan ang peace and security. Always po, peace and security in the region.
Sa usapin po ng budget sa pag-held ng ASEAN dito sa Pilipinas, magkano po yung tinitingnan nating budget? Kasi po nagastusan po tayo sa MISU.
Secretary Andanar or Director Mayo, budget for ASEAN.
Tulad ng nasabi ko po kanina, ang namamahala po ng ating chairmanship ay ang National Organizing Council at sa aming pagkakalaman, na-slash po. Na-slash, sir, no? Oho, ang ating budget. At ngayon, ang tinitingnan natin po ay 15 billion. 15 B. Yes.
Okay.
Thank you, Aldwin. We have Ian Adatu of Sunstar Baguio.
Magandang hapon po sa ating lahat. Since dito po sa Pilipinas, in terms of disaster naman po tayo, na nagkakaroon po tayo ng different disasters po. Kapag pinag-uusapan po yung preparations po, meron po ba tayong centralized applications or mga other information platform kung saan po tayo mas may inform po ng mga ganong bagay po?
Right now,
Sir Carlos Munda, in charge of the new media communication.
well, right now, each department of government is functioning as an independent social media. I mean, I'm speaking of social media. I guess that's the question. No? Social media publisher. So DSWD puts out its own. In fact, even Secretary Tagiwalo has her own social media account. Same with DPWH, etc. Other agencies. No, I think what the PCO is trying to do is to create PCO also has that, like what I showed earlier, it's a laging handa. What we're trying to do is basically consolidate everything so that there is a system to it, so that it doesn't look, so that people who need the information to be able to respond properly to a disaster or an emergency will be able to have a single source that is vetted, that is, there's accreditation, there's certification, so that there is, we can organize the well, shall we say, medyo chaotic state of social media right now in terms of disaster response. So, indirect answer to the question, is there a centralized? None as of yet, but that's what we're trying to do.
Thank you, sir. Dako naman po tayo doon sa effect po ng ASEAN 2017 po. Ano po yung possible na magiging effect po nito to naman po sa ating mga kababayan, lalong-lalo na po yung mga mahihirap po?
Director Mayo?
Well, as we all know, ang ASEAN po ay 50 years old na. And it's a work in progress po. Tuloy po ang ginagawa po ng ASEAN. And again, I have to bring you back to yung central idea that it is a people-centered, people-oriented association. So, nakatutok po again sa the vulnerable groups, and migrant workers, and all sectors po of society. So, bawat hanay po ng yung ating tinatawag na pillars ay doon naman po papunta lahat ng mga ginagawa. Let me cite for example, ang peace and security po ay hindi po abstract. Importante po yan kahit sa mahirap. Para sa lahat po ang lahat ng teams na yon. So pag sinabi po natin inclusive, innovation-led growth, we are talking about inclusivity na hindi lang po pang malaking korporasyon. Ang tinitignan, ang focus po actually ng chairmanship ay the micro, small, and medium enterprises. So nandun po tayo sa maliliit po na mga negosyante na gusto nating paangatin upang makatulong po sa ekonomiya. Hindi lang po ng Pilipinas, kundi ng rehiyon, yung 10 bayan po ng ASEAN.
Thank you, ma'am.
Okay, for our last question, we have the Public Information Officer of Mountain Province, Gary Pecas.
We are talking about the use of the internet, sir. And we are aware that many of us are connected in one way or another to the internet. And there is a general trend to believe that anything you read on Facebook might be true. Now, these social media networks have sort of democratized the media itself. But as mentioned by Yusek Eko, even mainstream journalists are sometimes forget about their journalistic oath. What more with these social media users who sometimes go overboard in their reportage. No? We are talking about an epidemic of fake news, the use of Photoshop to portray many different scenes that are far from the truth, and to engender emotions among our users. And it's becoming a very big problem. Since the PCO is involved in communications itself, is short of outright censorship, what is it actually doing to make sure that these social media networks are not abused, to be used against government or even individuals in our society?
Andanar?
Thank you. Gary?
Yes.
It's a very good question. Parang pakiramdam ko tuloy nasa tayo. Nasa University of Baguio. at merong debate. Alam niyo po, meron tayong nakasulat sa konstitusyon na freedom of expression at freedom of speech. And our country is known to be one of the biggest. We have leaders who are followers of this freedom of speech, freedom of or the right to express oneself. Now, you mentioned a good word, democratized writing or media in the social media space. Now, the reason why social media is big, because it democratized it. It gave every person in this room, or maybe outside of this room, a 2-minute, their own 2 minutes of fame every time they would post a photo, a video, or an opinion. Kaya lumakas po. On the other hand, the drawback here is the spread of fake news, because some people don't have the same accountability that most of us here in the room have. Now, if we stop it, if we control it, sabihin naman ng mamayan na censorship. So it's really a drawback. I think that it comes with the territory of social media. If you control social media, then I don't think it will also have the same sexiness. No? Siguro maraming aalis din kung kukontrolin natin yung social media. So if the question is, will PCO censor? I think it is not within our authority to censor whatever people say, or person for that matter who's online. Wala sa atin yan eh.
I was talking about censorship, that there must be a positive way of responding to this. Perhaps in future fora, we should have a topic on that to instill responsibility in all these social media users, so that what they do is, while it's ultimately their personal responsibility, they also have a responsibility to society to make sure that what they post is right. No, I mean, as advocates of the same technology, we should try to, if we...
I think that was addressed by the cybercrime law. And would you know that, see, Asek Marie is a lawyer here, so she'd talk about cybercrime.
Yes, we have the cybercrime law that's into that. There's a division at the NBI. And perhaps on social media, it would not be within the ambit of PCO to regulate. It would be up for Congress to craft a law that they look into it and ask the implications of these things to ordinary citizens, and pass a law on how to regulate social media. But it would not be up for the presidential communications or the secretary to come up with regulations that would regulate social media.
Maybe we'll ask Asek Christian Ablan with
Chris. Oh, Carlos.
We have Sir Carlos Munda first.
I was during my talk earlier, you have to understand that social media, the use of media in that term is sometimes confusing for people. Social media, I was talking to Ms. Gigi Agtay earlier of PNA. It's more, the rules of social media and the rules of journalism are different. There should be ethics in social media, but it's ethics of a community, not of an industry. Because it's not an industry. Social media is not an industry. Every time any of you post on your personal profile that I went to this place or that place, you are in fact a publisher. You know, you've transferred the paradigm of media as us, as consumers of media. Now we are all publishers of media. Now there are some who are more active in publishing than others, diba? But that doesn't mean that you are not publishers at all. So what standard should we set there? My standard is based on the Constitution, the freedom of expression, the freedom of speech. As compared to the problem of a chaotic social media, in my opinion, the constitutional provision, the constitutional protection of free speech should always prevail. Magulong social media or we violate the free speech provisions, I will always go with free speech. Di bali magkagulo-gulo tayo sa kwentuhan. Anyway, that's a normal process. We're learning how to use social media. You know, give it time. Give it time.
Okay.
Panguling question na lang po pinabot po sa atin. Sa lecture po kanina ni Asek Ablan, about 70% of agencies are quite compliant sa FOI. Yes, sir. So, paano po yan ibababa, grassroots level? Kasi incorporated ho ba yan dun sa Citizens Charter ng ating mga agencies? FOI is quite new for our public.
Thanks, Jojo. So like I mentioned a while ago, we have 70% compliance across NGAs and GOCCs, but across departments, we have 100% compliance. So the Department of Energy, Department of Finance, Department of Budget and Management, all departments have their FOI manuals. What we're having a 70% compliance would be across all attached agencies and GOCCs. The PCO is working hard through Secretary Andanar, issuing a memorandum circular to all agencies who have not produced their FOI manuals. So our goal is to have 100% compliance for FOI manuals. Meanwhile, while some agencies may not have FOI manuals, Secretary Andanar issued FOI Memorandum Circular number 2 saying that if an agency does not have an FOI manual, the requestor or citizen may use the model FOI manual, which is online on www.foi.gov.ph. And then that's why the FOI team is part of the PCO ASEAN Roadshow to bring the FOI to the grassroots, because we understand not many people might know about FOI but not really understand how to use it.
Okay, maganda ang ating talakayan, but we have another activity this afternoon. Hinga na lang natin ang huling mensahe ang ating Secretary Martin Andanar.
Maraming salamat po. Sana ang ating panawagan sa publiko ay tuloy-tuloy po natin suportahan ang programa ng ating gobyerno. Isa lang naman ang ating gusto, pagbabago, at gusto natin isang maunlad na bansa. Hindi po ito kakayanin na isang Pangulo at 30 miyembro ng gabinete o mga tao sa harapan dito. Ang kailangan po natin ay ang suporta ng 100 milyong Pilipino. Maraming salamat po.
Maraming salamat po. Lahat po tayo, we have the duty to inform and be informed.
Yes, Ma'am Ellen. Sabi nga, we're partners for change.
Po, nagtatapos ang talakayan sa kapihan sa Baguio na dinaluhan din ng ating mga panauhing pandangal na dumalo din kanina doon sa naganap na workshop. Kasama po dyan sa kapihan sa Baguio si Communications Secretary Martin Andanar, ang kanyang Assistant Secretaries Christian Ablan at Marie Rafael Banaag, gayon din si Carlos Munda, Department of Foreign Affairs Director Flerida Ann Camille Mayo, at ang Executive Director ng Presidential Task Force on Media Security Under Secretary Joel Egco. Kabilang po sa mga issue na tinalakay sa kapihan ay yung pagpapalakas ng government media, kabilang po dyan ang PTV4, Radyo ng Bayan, Philippine Information Agency o PIA at Philippine News Agency o PNA para maihatid ang mga balita at impormasyon sa ating mga kababayan. Natalakay rin po ni Executive Director for Presidential Task Force on Media Security na si Joel Egco na sa susunod na 2 buwan ay magkakaroon ng Media Security Summit upang malaman kung ano-ano nga ba yung mga factor na nagiging dahilan ng media killings at nang sa gayon ay makabuo din ng mga aksyon para ito ay maiwasan at maging mas ligtas ang Pilipinas para sa mga katulad po nating mamamahayag. Lubos ding ipinaliwanag kung ano nga ba ang kahalagahan ng ating pagiging chairman para sa ASEAN 2017. Sa huli po, nanawagan si Communications Secretary Martin Andanar sa ating mga kababayan na tuloy-tuloy na suportahan ang mga programa ng ating pamahalaan, lalo pat hindi naman nila ito makakaya ng 30 miyembro ng gabinete at maging ni Pangulong Duterte lamang. Dahil sa sama-sama po ay makakamit po natin ang tunay na pagbabago. Mula po rito sa Baguio City, para rin po sa pagpapatuloy na ASEAN PCO Roadshow, ako po si Sweden Velado.